I'm Micah Smith, and today's quick tip is all about error handling. Now, the error handling package itself has a total of 4 commands in it. We're going to talk about 3 of them here. Specifically, we're going to look at the try, catch, and finally. Now, if you're coming from another programming language, try, catch blocks are somewhat familiar. If you're brand new to this, that's totally fine. We're going to look at what try, catch, and finally blocks allow us to do. So I've got some really basic code set up here. I've got a try block. And what a try block is it's going to try to execute whatever code is in there. If the code runs successfully, I should jump directly over to my finally block. If the code has an error, I should jump over to my catch block and then finally over to my finally block. Okay? So the first thing we're trying to do is we're going to have a message box that pops up that says that we're entering the try block. We're going to set a string value to the value of 7 spelled out. And then we're going to try to convert that to a number. Now we know that that's going to fail because that's text and that's not going to convert well to a number. Notice too that I've got a message box here at the end of my try block, which is going to show the output of that, right? And we want to pay attention to when and if that actually shows up. In my catch block here, I have a message box that's going to show me the error message as well as the error line number. Those can be set by clicking on the catch block right here, and I can set the variable that I want to store the error message or the exception message to, as well as the error line number. My finally block has just a really simple message box that says entering the finally block. This runs either way. Let's execute this and see how it goes. Now, this is really important because controlling the flow of your bots is going to be really important to successfully executing your bots and controlling their bot runs. So I'm entering my block. Notice here I'm in my catch block. I have my error message and the line number. And then I have the message from my finally block that tells me, yep, this finally ran. And here it says my bot has run successfully, even though my error handling has told me that, it didn't. The bot still told me it was a success because all of my errors were successfully trapped. So as far as the bot's concerned, yeah, it was a success. Now, what we're going to do here, and I want to point out 2 things. One, I'm going to switch this to a 7, so this will actually convert. Notice what happened though. We never saw this message box. Okay? So it's really important that when you're thinking about error handling, you know that when an error occurs, it's immediately going to jump over to the catch block. So any code that I have after that won't be executing. So keep that in mind as you're designing your bots and as you're designing how you want to set up your different try-catch blocks. We'll run this one more time. In this case, we actually have what is a real number in a string variable, so it should convert successfully. And then we should see that we move directly over to the finally block while skipping the catch block. So here it says the outcome is 7. That was the last command within our try block. And then I have my finally block that runs either way. Hopefully this helped you to understand how to use try, catch, and finally blocks within your code. It can be really helpful to use the finally block for things like logging out of a website, closing out of an application when the bot run is done. This has been a quick tip for Automation Anywhere. Be sure to like the video, subscribe, and follow us on our social channels.